Good morning, sunshine. Welcome to Morning Inspiration with Friends with our host, Miss Inspiration. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe as you sit back and listen. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hope everyone is having an amazing day. Happy Tuesday. Sorry I could not make it here yesterday. Just didn't have it. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Just didn't have it. I didn't have the energy, the mental, the emotional. November is not easy for me. That's also why now that I think about it, because sometimes I will, like, my spirit would just tell me, like, it's time for a break. And that's when I will take a break. And the week before last, I just kept hearing the whisper, like, break time. So that's why I took a break. But not that this is the topic of the conversation for today, but I do know that I struggle with depression, especially around this time of the year. And yesterday I woke up and it felt the heaviest that I've ever felt in a very long time. And I just had to let myself go through all the feelings that I went through. I feel like yesterday I went through like the 5 stages of grief multiple times. Right? Multiple times I went through it, and I needed that, right? Because it's like you get that feeling and it's like, like, I need this. I need to do this for myself. Give me 1 second. Let me go let this little boy outside since he now wants to go outside. Jelly bean. Was trying to get him before I went live, and he just refused to go outside. And then just now he wants to go outside. Thank you, Jelly Bean. So I use StreamYard. For those of you that don't know, StreamYard has partnered with another company. So YouTube, you might have 2 choices. I actually haven't even looked to see, because I did get 2 notifications from YouTube about my video. So I don't know how it looks. I see that we have 6 people, and it might be because of YouTube and how they have the new changes in the setup. So, welcome. I am Tanisha Shanae, Miss Inspiration. I'm an inspirational speaker, lifestyle strategist, and I am just the person that's here to always inspire people to just do some amazing things. Good morning. Good morning. I did see your name. I think you are showing on our vertical side. But I do this every Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. ish Central Time. And I say ish because sometimes it's like 7:05, 7:10. But I'm always here. And if I'm not here, I do have replays. I was just talking about how last week I took a week off. I always schedule a week out and just kind of just let myself enjoy what I need to enjoy, or decompress what I need to decompress. And so yesterday I gave myself grace because I was not in a great mental space to go live. But yeah, I did get a good message. I'm still playing 21 Days of Living and Thriving as Miss Inspiration. So you do not have that playlist. You can either go back to the Morning Inspiration podcast list on YouTube, or you can go to the playlist 21 Days of Living and Thriving as Miss Inspiration. But today I want to talk about something. Yesterday I was like just listening to so many messages. Like you'll see here, I got like little notes and stuff that I was just writing down, and things are just like dropping in my spirit. And so one thing that came to mind yesterday was stop judging yourself. Stop being so hard on yourself. You are doing better than most people, right? There's no time for you to prove. And that really hit me because I know that personally, I am a person that struggles with criticism. I'm self-critical. Tongue tied this morning. I'm tired still, but I am very self-critical. I'm always the kind of person that I'm looking for ways to always improve, ways to do better. Like I don't compare myself to other people. Like I'm not one of those people like, oh, dang, I see so and so is doing that. They're accomplishing goals. I'm gonna like I need to do the same thing. Like I'm not really motivated by that. I'm motivated by like my last accomplishment. That's like how I motivate myself. I look at what I've done in the last 5 years, the last 5 months, and I will literally put so much pressure on myself. So I wanted to share that because I feel as though that so many people are also self-judging, right? You're judging yourself, and I want you to realize it is not going to produce any growth. If we sit and just continuously judge ourselves, especially when you're doing good stuff, right? If you are already doing amazing things and you are judging yourself, you are definitely not going to produce any growth. It's not going to help you, right? It's going to, if anything, it's going to produce shame because now you're going to start feeling shameful. You're going to start thinking like, Dad, I should have done better. I should have did better. I should have did more, right? You don't beat yourself into healing. You have to understand that you have to love yourself throughout this entire transformation, whatever you're going through. So whether you are looking at some new goals that you're trying to accomplish, I want you to realize like this is a transformation. This is the entire process. And you have to love yourself to go through that process and not look and criticize yourself. And so when I heard that message yesterday, I was like, dang, I feel like, you know what? I could see spaces in my life, right? If we can be honest with ourselves, you can always look at spaces in your life where you're like, dang, I am truly sitting here just judging myself, and so you get this feeling like other people are judging when in fact it's you're judging you. So you're already created this narrative. Well, they're judging me. They're looking at what I'm doing. They're criticizing what I'm doing. And 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be very honest with you. Most people are not paying you any mind. So that's how we know it's a you problem. So we have to explore that and figure out how do we turn that negative, harsh self-talk that you have been accustomed to and actually start to shut that down because it's taken over mentally, it's taken over spiritually, it's taken over and you're not producing. Hey, Paula, happy Tuesday to you. Happy to see you back. All right. Not sure which version you are watching me on, if you're watching on the vertical or the horizontal, but StreamYard has now created 2 spaces for YouTube. So just let me know which one you're watching on. But yeah, that's that harsh talk is going to really paralyze you. You're not going to take the actions that you need to take, And I think when I heard that message, are you watching on the vertical one? So when you're watching, I'm sorry, when you're watching, so when you are judging yourself, and that judgment, you're just realizing that you're just stuck, and you put yourself in a stuck space. And that's where I want you to get out of. I want you to walk away from that space. Right. So we have to really think about that. It's not helping me to grow, and it's helping me to produce more shame and become more critical. So this is when I have to literally take action and say, I got to stop. I got to do something different. They're not worried about what I'm doing. I'm criticizing myself more than they are. They're just, doing what they do. They just living. But I'm the one that's truly taken this and I'm judging and I've created all of these narratives, right? And that is a very dangerous place to be in. Second thing is that we often judge ourselves more harshly than God does, right? So for those of you that are new, I am 100% spirit-led, right? And I do believe that everything that we do we should be doing what God has called us to do. And so oftentimes when I feel as though, and I heard this message also yesterday, a lot about obedience and obeying what God is telling you to do. If you go on my Facebook page, I have a banner and it says pray, listen, and obey. And I thought that's where the message was going to go today, and that might be tomorrow. But I literally just kept hearing that. And so I feel as though that because a lot of times we don't obey what God is telling us to do, that forces us into more judgment, right? And so we start judging ourselves, we start criticizing ourselves because things didn't work out the way that we were expecting them to work out. But we have to get to the root problem is that you didn't obey. You didn't do exactly what God told you to do. I did a video a couple of weeks ago. It's like a 7-minute video, and I reflected on the 7 days of how I was like growing my YouTube channel and finally listening to what God was telling me to do and how he was telling me to do it. And once I did that, I started to yield more results. I started to actually see what people were telling me that I was going to see. I was going to, like, one of my shorts that week when I was able to get 1,100 views in 24 hours on one of my shorts. Like, when we follow the instructions that God has instructed us to do, we are going to get those results. And when we don't, we start getting critical. We start looking at ourselves, and then you start, like, I know God is mad at me. He's disappointed. Absolutely. God hates when we don't do what he wants us to do. But I think because he knows us better than anyone knows us, he knows that sometimes you might be ready, but they might not be ready. I feel as though there's always this space where it's just like, I know that she's going to do this or she's going to do that. And oftentimes it is, I didn't do it. And so it's like, yeah, he's disappointed, but it's like there's so much grace there. There's so much forgiveness, especially if you're not walking away from him completely. You just didn't do that one thing, right? Just like when your parent asked you to clean up your room by 12 o'clock and you didn't get it done. I'm hopefully, you wasn't like neglected and, kicked out the house. Hopefully your dad was just disappointed in you, and they're going to tell you that they're disappointed. They might help you. They might give you grace, or they might say, when we come back, you're going to do this again and you're going to clean it up correctly. That's how I feel like God really is, right? Because it's like, he'll always make that direction that you take. He'll make it purposeful and meaningful. It might not still be what he ultimately wants, but it still has value in that. So you have to stop sitting there. And once you know that you did not do what you're supposed to do and do it the way that you're supposed to do it, I don't want you to sit in this space of, why me? Why didn't I listen? How come I'm a horrible person? You're not a horrible person. Like, you just don't listen too well sometimes. And I mean, that's like, look, I like to be honest. I'm one of the truth tellers. I'm going to give you the real. Sometimes we just don't listen well and we don't do what we're supposed to do. And so we really just have to remember, like, God is going to meet you where you are, right? So Paula knows, like, sometimes we just don't, we know. If you are honest with yourself, when you don't do things the way God says do it. All right. But yeah, you got to just keep opening yourself up and keep giving yourself room to grow, right? That grace, giving yourself grace and giving yourself room to grow, that's a beautiful space to be in, right? Because you know that you're going to make mistakes, and you know that, you plant a seed for like a tree, a flower, it's not going to grow instantly. It's not going to grow in a really tight, confined place. It needs room to grow. So you have to give yourself space to grow. You have to allow that time, right? So something that you might be doing and it's not yielding immediate results. So that's also another problem, is that we are very impatient. We want what we want right now. Like someone said to me many years ago, about 9 years ago, they was like, we live in a microwave society. Everybody just want to pop in the microwave, pop, pop, pop. And there we go. It's done. And we can eat it. We can enjoy it. And that's not how life is in the reality. Everything is not going to be an instant, right? Some meals taste better when you put it in the oven. Right? Think about that. I've been seeing more videos recently of people showing how they used to heat up food before we had microwaves. And when you really think about it, that is some of the best food when you heat it up the old school way. If you put it in that pot of water, right? Don't tell me I'm the only person. I may not have done it too many times, but I've seen it done, because when I was growing up as a little girl, we didn't have a microwave. I didn't get a microwave until our third apartment when I was a teenager. You have to put that plate like on some foil in a pot and put the top on, and you just let that. It's gonna take some time, but it's gonna be real good. And then if you got some time, put it in the oven, you heat it up, it's gonna be real good. You put it in the microwave, it tastes okay, but it don't taste great, right? Don't put a biscuit in there, because half the biscuit's hard, the other half is soft. Like, it's just one of those confusing moments. So I just want you to realize sometimes it does take time. It takes time to cultivate it. It takes time for it to grow, for it to flourish. It's going to take time. That's also what we have to understand when we're giving ourselves grace. You made a mistake, fine. You acknowledged it. You understand that God still loves you. He's not going to like throw you out the world. And he's still going to be there for you. So the last thing is that it's just about a lot of compassion, right? And compassion for yourself. This is you giving yourself compassion, right? It's not an excuse, right? I heard someone say a while ago, like, oh, y'all always telling people on threads, y'all always telling people to give themselves grace. That's just an excuse for them to make a mistake. It's not. We humans are some of the most critical people. And like I said, some of us are most critical of ourselves. We don't even have compassion for ourselves. So this is the real reason why when we look at how the dynamics of the world, we don't have compassion for other people. Right? Thank you, God, because this just dropped in my spirit. Like I'm going through this. Person makes a mistake and immediately you're just like, I'm done. What if God did that to us? We make many mistakes. Like I said earlier, how many times have God given you clear instructions? You knew what you were supposed to do, and you still did the opposite, or you still didn't do anything. And then you turn around and you're like, well, God, but can you just forgive me? And God is just like, what if God said, no, I'm just done with you. I'm off. Like, I'm off of you. That's what we do. We'll walk away, we'll block people, we'll close the doors. Conversations haven't even been had. Sometimes that's necessary, but sometimes you have to really sit and ask God, is that what I'm supposed to do? Should I have a little bit more compassion? And this is where you have to now look at yourself and say, what am I supposed to do? How do I have more compassion for myself? How do I help myself through this? How do I really grow with compassion for myself? And so you have to really understand that. You have to understand the meanings of it and know that, where you lack. So I'm telling you, like, look, as a person, trust me, I am the biggest critic. I'm the biggest self-critic. I criticize myself. I used to be real bad when I was in my early 20s and maybe into my early 30s. So definitely my 20s and probably into my early 30s. And that's when I really started to understand, like, a lot of this has to just do with obedience, right? A lot of it has to do with obedience, especially if you go to God and you say, hey, God, I need help with this, right? And then God gives you the download. And you get that download and you're like, I don't like that. So now I'm not going to do that. And then you go and do your own thing. You go get you a coach. That coach gives you a game plan completely opposite from what God told you to do. And then everything goes to the crap. Nothing works out. Now you're mad at God. No, be mad at yourself. In this moment, you have to say, you know what, this is where I went wrong. But you know what? I still have the game plan that he gave me. So you have a choice at that time to go back and say, you know what? I know I messed up, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to see how this is going to work. And when you do it, you'll probably get the growth and the results that you were looking for. But when I say to you, you are amazing, you are accomplished, no matter what you think you have or have not accomplished yet. You are already accomplished. You are already successful. You have already done amazing things. Unfortunately, many of you have to practice that conversation before you even take action. Because honestly, that's where a lot of us get stuck. We get stuck in this mental game and we're telling ourselves all these horrible things and we're listening to what people have told us over the years instead of just listening to what God is telling us and doing it. So we already talked ourselves out of these incredible concepts and the incredible realities. And that's where a lot of us don't take that action. So I'm here to tell you, like, whatever you are, whatever stage you are in your life, stop judging yourself. It's time to give yourself so much grace. You deserve that much. That I will honestly say, you definitely deserve that. And I'll pray that you continue to go after that. And I pray that you stop. When you start feeling yourself start judging yourself and criticizing, and you should have did this, and why didn't you, and you know better that, and you start speaking to yourself and saying, but you know what, I did great at this, and I did amazing at that, and you know what, I tried my hardest at this, because that's what's important. Yesterday I was talking to someone, and they started to reflect on all of the negative things, and I had to stop them, and I was like, stop. I said, how about for once we focus on some of the good things? What were some of the good moments? Focus on that. What did you do well in? Focus on that. And when you let that be your focal point, it's going to really start to shift. And this is where allowing grace is going to be easier for yourself. When you're doing that, this is where you're going to really allow yourself to grow. Because when you look back, that self-reflection, whether it's in 3 months, 6 months, a year, you're going to be able to look back and see your progress. And then you could be even more proud of yourself, because now you're just looking at yourself like, dang, I remember when I did this and I wasn't doing it the right way. Or I remember when I first thought about this and I was like, I don't think this is going to work out. Whatever that conversation is, I want you to have a good moment, a good memory, a good self-reflection, because you have done it. And I want you to start thinking now that you have done it. So I'm going to stop here. Like I said, I don't know how this vertical and horizontal on YouTube, it seems like it brought in a lot more people though. So we're going to continue, and I will see if my SEO young lady, if she has any issues with it being 2 videos instead of just being 1. But we're here. So I'll be back here tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. Hit the links below. Oh, I'm wearing one of my shirts. You can go down to my shop. Don't overthink yourself into remaining broke. This is one of my shirts that I actually created. So you can shop down. You can look at the link. You probably see like mugs, hoodies. We got morning inspiration hoodies as well. Can't wait for my hoodie to get here. But go ahead and support the channel. Like, subscribe, hit that share button, share it with someone. Someone out there needs this. Someone out there is judging themselves, and we want to get them to stop. You can follow me on other social medias. I am Tanisha Shanae, same thing, Tanisha Shanae on Instagram. I am Miss Inspiration 25 on TikTok, and tomorrow when I come, I will make sure I have a banner so that you'll be able to see that. But I will see you back tomorrow. You know, stay a while, look at the playlist. We have been doing Morning Inspiration with Friends since the beginning of March. That's when I started Morning Inspiration with Friends. So we have over 120 videos for you to sit back, relax, listen to, be inspired by, and it's always a good time here, right? So I am your girl. Stay tuned, and I hope you guys have an amazing day on purpose, with purpose. Take care.
Man, that was another great message, Tanisha. Listen, friends, if you are not watching Morning Inspiration with Friends with Tanisha, then you are missing out. Hit that subscribe button and even share with a friend, because this is the best way to start your morning. Check Tanisha out every Monday through Friday around 7 a.m. CT time. You will not be disappointed.